revolution. The time is nigh, the day is dark. There's only one solution. 'Cause I'm a one man, I'm a one man, I'm a one man revolution. Sacrifice and neon lights.
1 hour down, 2 to go. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, and we're almost done with a full week of shows, believe it or not, folks. Blog will be up shortly, and I just want to thank all of you out there for being so supportive and really helping me get this show and, you know, try to reach more and more people. We're going to play the Counting Bodies video coming up in the next half an hour by a Perfect Circle, the side project of Keenan. And Perfect Circle, I don't know if it's as good as Tool, but they're both rather excellent, and I'm really into it. Let's keep going through your calls. Let's go to Ryan in California. Ryan, what's on your mind?
Hey there. Just wanted to say great job. Really happy you've come on board with the show, and all good stuff. Hey, so it might have been an appropriate call last night with Tex Mars, and you were talking quite a bit earlier today about the whole religious implications. And, I understand that our government and our leaders are truly evil and corrupt, but is it okay that I just don't care about all this other nonsense?
You mean the symbolism and stuff like that? You think it's a distraction, right?
I do, and I not that it doesn't mean something, not that it's not ultimately important to all of them, but it's just, to me, I think it's okay to not believe in anything. I'm an atheist. I don't think that all atheists believe in abortion. I don't think all atheists are part of this scientific movement. I don't believe in abortion.
No, I'm with you, man. I was on that train. I mean, I got to tell you, I guess, the best way to describe it now is I'm agnostic at best. I definitely believe good and evil exist and that there's something to a religion and maybe a greater purpose out there, but I don't proclaim to know what that purpose is or where we came from. And before that, I was under that, after, growing up Christian and actually living in a church on the weekends when my parents were divorced. First of all, my mother was insane about. I'm a big Italian family on my mother's side, so we were insane about going to church every weekend. Everybody was going to church. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, when my parents got divorced, my father started dating a woman who her dad was a pastor, and she lived in the church. So we would be there all weekend. I would have to sit in the front row at church, and I would have to go to Sunday school. And I thought so much, just sitting there of how hypocritical everybody was, and how zombie-like people were, and how this group mind think wasn't for me. And it turned me off to, religion, but Christianity in general. It wasn't until later that I kind of came back around and saw that a lot of Christians were actually good people. Not everybody were like these other people in the churches that I were in, and that some of these people had other values, and you can't change people's minds. But I'm with you, man. That's why when it gets too far and you've got these people that call up and they're just like, the Jesuits are behind it, or those dirty Jews. First of all, that's totally, anti-Semitic and just racist. But, right. But, these people don't know who's at the top. They're not part of these organizations. And, just a group like the Bilderberg Group, for instance, Bilderberg Group, they meet about a month before the Bohemian Grove does. I think it's either in early June or late May, and it's in July that the Bohemian Grove. And if you're a member of the Bohemian Grove, whether you believe in the occult stuff that goes on there, you're a prominent person, right? There's 3,000 of you. Yeah. But at the Bilderberg Group, where there's no occult rituals going on, you got 125 to 144 of the most powerful people, and those people are on an innermost circle than those in the Grove, because those people then go out to the Grove, and they disperse their bit of information to their minions, and they disperse their information to their minions, and that's how compartmentalization works. So I'm with you on that. I don't think atheists are evil. Jones is a Christian. He's going to come at it a Christian perspective. It's just like I had Tex Mars on earlier in the week. I think that Tex does some great work. These books here, they're thick for a reason. There's a lot of information out there. If you're interested in the subject matter, it is there. I think it's important for people to know who is at the top and what their mindset is. But at the same time, I think it's more important that they understand that there are three branches of government. That's judicial, executive, and legislative. And that there is checks and balances in this country, and that we need our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. We're going to finish up with you on the other side, Ryan. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. We'll be back after this. here. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. We are back. It's Friday night, folks, 10 p.m. Central, 11 over on the East Coast. Man, all my boys are probably out on their way to the bar, living it up, loving it up. But they're listening to the InfoWarrior now. I gave a big shout-out to them earlier in the week, and it's nice to hear them, interested in not only what I'm doing, but what's going on in the world. And, Ryan, I got to agree with you, especially when we're doing a news show. I went out into the hall, and I'm talking to my producer, and we had Ray McGovern on the Alex Jones show a few months back.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to take calls. McGovern's an ex-26-year CIA veteran, and I think, we've talked a little bit. Let's get some callers in here. And the first caller is like, I want to talk about Dracula's bloodlines. And I'm like, look, we got a CIA veteran on here. You want to talk about, Vlad the Impaler and all this other stuff and this, mythical character Dracula that's based on him. That's another show. That's a show with Tex Mars. That's a show, with somebody who's going to be, talking about the royal bloodlines and where they come from. I don't need that when we're talking about Robert Gates and what's going on in Israel and the Gaza Strip. By the way, I might as well report this right now. An internal EU report, I didn't give this to the guys, but an internal EU report admits what Israel is doing is more than just expansionism. It's actually annexation. That's what they're doing in East Jerusalem. Read it yourself. It's a leaked memo. But Ryan, why don't you finish up? I tell people your perspective, because a lot of people just don't get it. I think I might even have, callers on the line right now that want to go, I had someone call in about Saul of Tarsus today. And yeah, I don't know the story of Saul of Tarsus, but, again, I'm trying to do a news show. That's for a different time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan.
So here's where I'm coming from. Before I was really woken up to the idea that our government is completely corrupt. At first, for a while, I thought they were just incompetent, but now I realize that they are truly evil. I thought that my number one priority needed to be waking people up to the horrors of religion and on and on. And then I realized that a lot of these people are actually fighting the exact same thing that I am, and the enemy of my enemy is absolutely my friend. So I'm aligning myself all together with with everybody who's fighting evil. Doesn't matter where you're coming from, but it's important not to get distracted by all this stuff that you really don't have any control over. If it was real, what do you think could happen if you really did expose it?
I think it's minutia at best, but again, it's good to expose what these people believe in, because like I said, even if you're atheist, these people do believe in some kind of occult knowledge. I'm sure, like I said to another caller earlier, a lot of these people just go along to get along, to be part of a club or whatever, to gain more and more power, and don't really buy into it. But there are those at the top that are into this sort of thing and absolutely believe it. I thank you for the call, Ryan.